thing until like they started having reviews. I thought you guys said you have some share, they're kind of share.
They want me like this.
So,
Katie,
um,
are you recording? Okay. Good evening, everyone. This is Katie Catchman, and it's Wednesday, December 13th, 2023 at 6:30, and I call the council meeting to order. We'll start with a roll call.
Ellis?
Yes.
Francie?
Here.
Gagan?
Here.
Catchman?
Here.
Lawrence?
Here.
Mackey? Morrison?
Here.
Percini?
Here.
Ross?
Here.
Shaw?
Here.
Cedar?
Here.
Taylor? Shave?
I'd like to make a motion to excuse council members Taylor and Mackey and Mayor Shea from tonight's meeting. I second it.
There's been a motion and second to excuse council members Taylor, Mackey, and Mayor Shave. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Does anyone oppose? Motion passes. Let's say the Pledge of Allegiance. Violet, will you lead us in the pledge tonight?
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Since I'm acting as Mayor Pro Tem tonight, we need a council president for the evening, so I will open nominations for a council president tonight.
I'd like to nominate Debbie Pericini, please.
I'll second that.
Been a motion and a second to nominate Debbie Pericini. Are there any other nominations?
Call for the question.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right. Council President Pro Tem Pericini, I'm not going to say that any more times tonight. You're going to present special agenda items tonight as well when we get to them.
Okay.
All right, I will take a motion for approval of tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Been a motion and a second to approve tonight's agenda. Is there any discussion?
Public safety needs to remove report C from this evening's agenda, please. It's regarding the agreement between the city of Aberdeen and Grays Harbor County toward the emergency medical services.
Are you making an amendment to the motion with that?
I guess I am.
Okay, sounds right.
I need to remove that.
Okay, is there a second on the amendment?
Second.
Okay, motion and second to amend tonight's agenda and approve as amended. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Does anyone oppose? Okay, the agenda is approved. Public comments, tonight's public comments, if you have anything to say, please approach the podium, state your full name and ward or city, and you have 3 minutes. So feel free to jump up if you have any public comments. Seeing nobody approach, we'll move on to the consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Does anyone oppose? Okay, motion passes. All right, are there any reports from council members tonight? Making this very easy on me. Okay, staff reports, city administrator.
Thank you. Council member or Mayor Pro Tem Catchman. Just a couple things. On Friday, council member Ellis and I went to Olympia and met with their homeless response coordinator. She gave us a tour of all the available shelters in Olympia, as well as the encampments that they have, really walked us through the successes that Olympia has experienced as well as the challenges that they currently face. And so I would also like to point out that the governor's supplemental budget was also released this afternoon. So there's funding in there for rapid shelters, I guess is what they're called, and right-of-way assistance for cities that are experiencing homelessness in the right-of-ways. And then today we met with members from the Department of Commerce and had really great discussions with them. So looking forward to hopefully some follow-ups and something that will kind of turn into something for the city. So are there any questions about anything? All right, thank you.
Any reports from our directors tonight?
Good evening. So I'm just gonna do just a real quick brief update on the zoning code. So we have been meeting this year diligently and making our way through the zoning code, and we're still on tap to be hopefully bringing in a zoning code forward for approval to council in May of 2024. If you all haven't had an opportunity, we have kind of the code update where we're at on the city council or on the city's website. And also our next meeting is going to be on December 21st at 5 o'clock, and it will be available on Teams if you're not able to attend in person. And the invite is on the city main calendar as well as the zoning update calendar. The slideshow is available as an attachment as well as the agenda. The last meeting we met for 2 hours, and we had an amazing conversation. We really got in depth about housing and what we're looking at for the future. And the second phase of that on the 21st, we'll be talking more about our commercial areas, including our waterfront. So I would encourage you to Zoom in, or I guess Teams in is the better phrase, to join us for that. It's been an interesting ride. There's so many changes that have affected our state, and we're looking at those. Even though we don't plan under growth management, we are taking a lot of direction from that because there's some really good advice in that and some, I think, seeds for good growth and change for our community that will be helpful in the years to come. So again, I encourage you to be a part of that and just join us on that. Councilmember Cedar.
Director Scott, are you familiar with House Bill 1110 that passed earlier this year out of the legislature?
Yes.
There's a significant unintended consequence that has arisen from that. And I appreciate a little bit of your time sometime in the near future to discuss some of the issues that have arisen from. I don't know if the city is considering density, residential density above 4 units on a parcel.
We are taking a look at all of them. A lot of the House bills that passed in the last couple years in particular do not really apply to us because we do not plan under growth management. But there are some really good seeds that are in those bills that we are looking at, maybe not necessarily in their entirety, but we are discussing them during this update process because we think they're important and it's a direction the state is heading. And even though we're not required to, I have a feeling in the years to come, we will be required to.
It's just there's a real significant issue that's arisen that
You are
to be
absolutely right. And one of the things that we're looking at with that addition is potentially also design standards. So we spent some really, and Councilmember Ellis can attest to this. If you want to, the video is available online from that last meeting. So I would encourage you to look at the video and see the conversation we had. But we did spend time discussing that as well as design standards and how, because we are already a developed city, a platted out city, how can we accommodate the change in our economics, especially in housing, and have it blend in with our existing communities. So that is really important to us as a group and as citizens moving forward. And so we are looking at that and different things we can do to accommodate that, but through design.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Councilmember Shaw.
you mentioned that you're on track for adoption in May. I thought it was coming to the council in March.
No, well, I think we initially hoped we'd have a draft come forward, but I think it was April and May that we were hoping to have final, because it's gonna be 3 readings. So we'll be sending drafts as we get them done forward, just for that conversation. But we're spending a little bit more time than we had anticipated in residential discussion, because it's the biggest change for us. So we are taking a little extra time. We didn't anticipate that this last meeting we had would be at least 2 or 3 meetings to get through some of our draft code concepts.
Thank you. Any other director's reports tonight? There's Director Barnett.
I'm not gonna do a PowerPoint, I'm just gonna read. I don't have any exciting photos to share this week. So I have a couple items on the agenda. One item is requesting that the council authorize the Parks Director to apply for a Washington State DNR Community Forestry Assistance Grant for an amount not to exceed $125,000. There is no match requirement for this grant. This grant money would be used to have the downtown street trees. There's 170 of them that need to be pruned. And there are 13 trees that need to be replaced. So we can use the funding to address both of those items in downtown Aberdeen. The second item is requesting authorization for the Parks Director to apply for a Grace Harbor Community Foundation grant for roundabout art for an amount not to exceed $50,000. Earlier this year, Mayor Shave had a committee formed to set the criteria for roundabout art. That request for proposal draft was then sent to the city's Arts Commission. And I did not want to assume that the city council wants roundabout art. So before I write an application, I wanted to bring this to you early. Because if you don't approve for me to apply for the roundabout art, then I know you don't want to do the roundabout art project. The last item I have on the agenda is items to be assessed into the museum collection. And then some updates on some projects I'm working on. At next week's council meeting, the lodging tax grant awards will be brought to you for your review and approval. I'll be bringing a request for you guys to sign the RCO grant agreement for the local park maintenance grant. That's that $100,000 grant that we received and that has no match. And last week I sent out the request for qualifications to hire the consultant for the architectural and engineering for 118 West Wishkoff, which is the building to be used for museum purposes and visitor information center. That consultant will be paid for by the Capital Heritage Grant. And then lastly, really good news, when we remodeled the Little League field this year, we were able to increase the height of the fence, which made Aberdeen eligible to host a state Little League major tournament. So we submitted a proposal to the state and we were awarded the state tournament this year. So we haven't hosted a majors tournament since 2007. This will bring in thousands of people from all over the state of Washington for a 7-day tournament that will be held July 13th through the 20th. So we've got some great things planned while they're here. Thanks to you increasing our recreation program funding, we're going to do a concert in the park, outdoor movie night, which will be open to everybody, but to have something extra while people are visiting Aberdeen. So
Great.
we're excited about that.
Great.
Is there any questions?
Congratulations, that's a big win for
I know,
Aberdeen.
we're
That's
excited.
here. Yeah. See Chief Golding approaching the podium.
Next.
Next.
Just wanted to give a little information for the automatic response agreement that's in the public safety section for approval. It's a little convoluted, so I wanted to kind of give you guys a little bit of information before you had a chance to vote on it. So what this agreement is doing is it's taking 3 different aspects, if you will. We have an agreement with the city of Hoquiam that has been longstanding for 30+ years of some form of automatic response agreement. That is expiring at the end of this year. So this agreement would be renewing what we're doing with them as well. Another aspect of it is with Fire District 2. If you recall earlier this year, we approved an agreement for them. This agreement tonight would be replacing, no change to it, just replacing it. And then the City of Cosmopolis Fire Department wanted to partake in this agreement with the other entities as well. So it's kind of bringing them to the table with their resources to share back and forth. So that's what it is those three elements together. And we saw an opportunity as the fire chiefs to hopefully have one agreement that captures it all together. Then all of us train and manage three different agreements with each other. So it's not a new concept. It's the same thing we kind of been doing, just adding Cosmopolis to it. So if there's any other questions, yeah,
Questions for the chief?
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right, I think we are ready to move on to finance and a chair report from Council President Perugini.
Okay, so we have a report to authorize the Parks Department or the Parks Director to apply for a Grays Harbor Community Foundation grant in the amount of $50,000 to pay for a roundabout art in the Market Street roundabout. I move that we adopt this report.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second to adopt this report. Is there any discussion?
Casey? I actually got more feedback from people this week on this item than any other on our agenda, which was surprising to me. And the overwhelming consensus is no, people do not want art in the roundabout. And I tend to agree with that. You know, $50,000, granted, it's a grant. It's a lot of money. I'd like to see that $50,000 applied elsewhere. I'm not against art. I am against art in the roundabout because it's a distraction. I had the opportunity to talk a little bit with the police chief about it, and accidents overall since the roundabout was installed have been down by about half. I'd like to keep it that way. So I'm going to be a no vote on this.
Thank you.
I am in agreement with Casey.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Yes.
Yeah, just a bit of clarification. My understanding was the 50,000 would pay for an artist to come up with a proposal. Not necessarily pay for a specific piece of art.
No, it would pay for the art.
Yeah, it said in there that it paid for the design, fabrication, and installation of it.
Councilmember Sedor?
I'm in favor of art, good art. Of course, that's all a matter of subjective opinion. I think something in the roundabout would be good to have. It's a little bare in that area, as long as it's not something that moves or is too high or would be distracting to drivers. Otherwise, I would support it.
Thank you. Councilmember Shaw?
So the roundabout has been a long topic for a number of years in Public Works, and I can share with the council that since we embarked on the roundabout project, eventually having some sort of beautification, whether it's art or something there, has always been part of the conception of what was going on at that intersection. But my question was, it wasn't clear in the materials provided to us how the $50,000 amount was arrived at, because I've got Google and I Googled public art and roundabouts and found projects all over the state of Washington ranging anywhere from 15 to 200. So I just was curious how we came up with 50, and also if I'm not, the community foundation is fantastic, but I'm also was curious. There wasn't any information that there's no other grant opportunities out there for public art and that the community foundation is the only resource. And I just hate to keep going to that well or something if there's another opportunity out there for public art in the right of way that other cities seem to be accessing.
Yeah. Do you want to address the question?
Sorry, this was, I think the mayor had wanted this for quite some time, and it was one of those things he wanted to get done before he left office. So we probably started this, I think, December or January, January of this year. And he had he had asked Doug Orr, he invited Doug Orr to come in and because he knows he's a local artist and he wanted him, and he knows like a lot of artists around the area. He wanted to like open it up to Aberdeen artists or Grace Harbor artists to be able to put a piece of artwork in there. And so Doug put together a committee, just a small group of local artists, people that have held positions on the Arts Commission prior. And I was on it as well, just to kind of represent the city and make sure that anything that was proposed was reasonable and within the scope of what the city could do and manage. And so they came up with they were coming up with like the scope and the requirements. And then also kind of hearing what the Downtown Aberdeen Association was doing and creating a music district and an arts district. I thought it would be a good idea for the city to reestablish the Arts Commission. So when we did this, we handed over the idea and understanding that the Arts Commission was going to be restarted. It's my understanding that we were going to hand over, and I think that's what's happened, is that they've handed over this body of work that they put together for the Arts Commission to take and to kind of implement and to bring to all of you for recommendation. So when it came to the funding, that was just something that we had come up with, was there was, it was just, they just selected the Grace Harbor Community Foundation. I think that one of the members had already talked to the director at the Grace Harbor Community Foundation, and he had expressed we would be interested in that because they support art. So I'm sorry, there was a second part to your question. Did I address everything?
How they arrived at the 50,000?
Oh, that, I don't know if that's like the threshold for them, but that 50,000 is what the group had decided was reasonable to cover the artist's time and then any materials that they want. And that's why it's not to exceed 50,000. So it could range anywhere in between that. And I don't know if cost is one of the criteria in there that they would be scored on as well. So.
I just had one comment. I attended part of the finance committee meeting today where this was brought up, and I understand that there's a lot of work that has gone into this, and they've worked directly with Director Sanger's folks to ensure that whatever goes into the RFP for the design of this is going to be appropriate for a roundabout. I've been through many roundabouts in my day, and I've never slowed down to take pictures of roundabouts or anything like that. So I don't see that turning into an issue. I think right now there's something bare there that's missing. So I think art is part of the answer for this. So I'm going to support this tonight and trust our committee to make some good recommendations and bring that forward.
Yeah, whatever is proposed would go through our engineering department to make sure that it is safe. Our engineers had, when speaking with them, they had said that they actually prefer that people aren't able to see directly across, because the car that they need people to pay attention to is the car on their immediate left. And so this would kind of create more of so we would definitely run it through the engineering department as well to make sure everything was suitable.
Councilmember Ellis?
Yeah, I would like clarification on, if this were approved tonight, then how would the process move forward where a final proposal would come before council for us to approve? Because it seems like we approve this tonight, we're approving the whole process, and whatever piece of art the committee decides to go with in concert with staff.
Director Barnum, thank you.
So if you approve if you approve for me to apply for the grant, the request for proposals wouldn't go out until we were awarded the grant, because I'm not going to send that out until I know we have the money. If we were awarded the grant in February, March, then a request for proposals would go out. Any proposals that were received would be reviewed by the Arts Commission. They would select from the proposals. Whatever was selected would then come to the council. for your approval.
Thank you. Councilmember Sedor?
Follow a couple of questions. Would some type of plantings be considered art, or has that been considered as an alternative to putting art in the roundabout, just to have color there?
Plants,
Plants,
shrubbery.
Yeah.
shrubbery, flowers.
That was part of, yeah, the consideration. There's some that where you have like water wise plants in there that is kind of complements the artwork and things like that. Lighting was also another thing that was discussed. So yeah, I think it's really the artist's interpretation. We'll just kind of see what the proposals look like.
Because I think I recall it previously about this, that there was some concern about how would you water and maintain watering the plants on, because I guess there's no plumbing hooked up or connected to the.
Right. The idea I would hope is to use like native plants to be able to be able to accomplish that. That wouldn't require that. But yeah, that would be the hope.
Thank you.
Note to roses are nice. The
Note-
local
Oh.
rose variety that's on the waterways.
All right, cool.
Right. Okay. One more.
That was one of the ideas
Yeah.
that came to my head, was that we were approving the 175,000 for the trees downtown, would be a great spot for a tree. But the lighting, I think, is really important, because I've had a few times where I haven't seen the pedestrians there because it is so dark in the evening. It is really dark there, and so something to light it up would be nice. But I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence with this, where I think it could use a little bit more understanding with where exactly the money's going to and what first. But I just I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna vote yet.
Thank you. Councilmember Shaw?
I'm gonna support it because I learned my lesson when I was rolling my eyes on the former Doughboy statue lot across from Aiken and Sanders, when the people were saying, oh, we should do something with that. And I'm going, and they put it out for artists to conceptualize. I love the weather wax wave, and in a million years, could not have conceptualized something so beautiful in our town, and it just gives me pleasure every time I drive by it. And so I don't want to underestimate the power of creative minds to blow us away and come back with something that we're going, that's it, we want that. So I have questions about the cost. I think that if we go forward with stuff like this, I think that we should have stronger parameters, but it doesn't sound like it's gonna get away from us, and we could strengthen our process going forward. But I think we let our artists give our artist community a chance to wow us.
Yeah, part of this is that it's local artists like to Grace Harbor and Pacific County. So it really is like for the local artists. I've spoken to council members from the Quinault tribe. The Quinault tribe is very interested also in providing artwork as well, because it's right next to their tribal trust land. So yeah, so I think this is going to be kind of a popular thing. So
Thank you.
I have a follow-up question for Director Barnum. If we apply for this grant and are awarded the grant, but the council ultimately decides for whatever reason not to pursue doing anything, then we just give the money back, right?
Yeah, probably. I haven't had that happen before with the community foundation.
I'm just
So
saying.
they just send you a check.
I mean, just because we're given the grant doesn't mean we're absolutely obligated to go ahead and put art there in the roundabout.
Right, because whatever's selected will come to you to approve before it's installed.
So we have time to think about it, make a decision based on whatever is ultimately proposed.
Yep, because that will come to you before they even build the artwork.
Thank you.
Can we do a roll call vote for this one?
Roll call vote's fine. All right. I think we're ready for the vote when you're ready.
Ellis,
Yes.
Francie,
Yes.
Aiken,
Yes.
Lawrence.
I think I can vote, can
Martins Mayor.
I? Oh, I've been voting all night.
oh,
Actually, the rules, allow the council president doesn't give up her right to vote chairing the meeting for the mayor.
Very good, okay.
Okay, I vote yes.
Morrison,
No.
Bertini,
No.
Ross,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Theodore,
Yes.
motion passes 8-2.
Thank you. Report B.
Okay, report to authorize the Parks Director to apply for a Washington State Department of Natural Resources Forestry Grant in the amount of $125,000 with no matching funds required. I move that we adopt this report.
Second.
There's been a motion and second to adopt this report. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Does anyone oppose? Motion passes.
Okay, then we have a report to authorize the mayor to sign a fuel tax agreement, which would accept a grant in the amount of $450,000 from the Transportation Improvement Board for the US Highway 101 Safety Improvement Project. And I move that we adopt this report.
Second.
Been a motion and second to adopt this report. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Does anyone oppose? Motion passes.
Next, we have a resolution that authorizes city administrator to issue a repayment to the Department of Commerce in the amount of $970,000 for funds appropriated to the city of Aberdeen for the acquisition of property for the Gateway Center. I move that we adopt this ordinance.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second to adopt this resolution. Is there any discussion?
Casey?
I was just actually hoping that City Administrator Clemens could give us an overview of how we got here.
So the, in 2015, the city applied for direct appropriations from the capital budget to build the Gateway Center, acquire property, build a Gateway Center and an archway. The city was able to use those funds and there were other funds as well that they were able to use, and they used the funds to purchase property and demolish the existing buildings. No archway was built and no gateway was built, and because the city didn't fulfill that portion, we have to repay the Department of Commerce for the appropriations that we received, which is the $970,000. Once this is paid, we will be done. We will be done with all gateway related things, and the city will now be able to just move on. We will be in good standing with the Department of Commerce, which is a very good place to be with them. And so then I think will be the final chapter of Gateway Center for now. Yeah.
Further discussion?
Does that also translate into having us be able to apply for different new grants for the museum?
Correct. Yeah. So this, the museum money that we have, it's like $2.2 million. We can't execute that contract until we repay this money. Thank you for asking. That's a good point. Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Does anyone oppose?
No.
And then resolution number?
2023-24.
All right, Public Safety Chair report from Councilmember Ross.
Thank you. From the Aberdeen Police Department, activity report, 31,000 calls to date this year. The Aberdeen police officers responded to 54 calls to River and State Street during the month of November, which is actually down 10 from October. They've made 26 proactive arrests for possession of narcotics since the drug laws went into effect on August 15. And the Aberdeen VIPs volunteered 181.5 hours during November. Valuing at $15 an hour, this is a contribution of $2,722.50 in labor to the city of Aberdeen. And the VIPs have installed 120 key boxes this year. So very important part of our community police department. And personnel, they have background and progress for 2 police officer candidates. So I'm really hoping that we'll get those, police officers hired soon. And from the fire department, we have several items on the agenda this evening. Call statistics for November were 503 incidents, which brings a total of 5759 for the year. The homeless response data was 61 EMS responses, 16 fire responses, for a total of 77, and the year to date is 718 responses. The overdose response data for the month of November is 19, bringing a year-to-date total to 218. And from the fire service specialist, he made 66 public contacts in November, 12 home visits, 16 fire service specialist referrals to help patients receive appropriate care, 12 health checks at the Aberdeen Senior Center, 9 business inspections, CPR training with the Aberdeen Police Department, and 5 referrals for assistance with opioid addiction. We continues to keep very busy for the benefit of our community. So on the agenda this evening, we have a report authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement between the city of Aberdeen and the Grays Harbor Fire District 10 for the delivery of EMS services to the district for 2024. I move we adopt this report.
Second.
There's been a motion and second to adopt this report. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Does anyone oppose? Motion passes.
We have a report authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement between the city of Aberdeen and Grays Harbor Fire District 15 for the delivery of EMS services to the district for 2024. I move we adopt this report.
Second.
There's been a motion and second to adopt this report. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Does anyone oppose? Motion passes.
We have a report authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement between the city of Aberdeen and Grays Harbor Fire District number 7 for the use of the city's server system. I move we adopt this report.
Second.
There's been a motion and second to adopt this report. Is there any discussion? Seeing none again, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Does anyone oppose? Motion passes.
We have a report authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement between the city of Aberdeen and the South Beach Regional Fire Authority for the use of the city's server system. I move we adopt this report.
Second.
There's been a motion and second to adopt this report. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Does anyone oppose? Motion passes.
And finally, a report authorizing the mayor to execute an interlocal agreement between the city of Aberdeen, city of Cosmopolis, the city of Hoquiam, and Grays Harbor Fire District number 2 for automatic response for structure fires. I move we adopt this report.
Second.
There has been a motion and second to adopt this interlocal agency agreement. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Does anyone oppose? Motion passes.
And that's it. Thank you this evening. Thank you.
Thanks, Councilmember Ross. And we have Public Works Chair Report by Councilmember Shaw next.
Thank you. Public Works met yesterday, and before I launch into our reports, I just want to share that one of the reports we got from our department heads was City Engineer Nick Bird had the opportunity to present, a report, if you will, a PowerPoint with pictures and everything to our District 19, District 24 lawmakers about the Fry Creek project, the East Aberdeen Mobility Project. And it was a really, really good PowerPoint. And I hope that after the first of the year, when the new council is seated, that City Engineer Nick presents those reports, because I think I said at the meeting that those projects have never been more clear to me than the way he presented them, and our lawmakers also were impressed. So with the scope of what we're doing here and how the state funds are being used. So anyway, with that said, these projects are enormous, and this is the first report I've seen that just kind of really captures the enormity of what we're undertaking. So it's great. Under reports, we have a report authorizing the Public Works Department to award the 9th and Alden Road Booster Pump Replacement Project to APSCO LLC as the successful bidder. This report will also authorize the mayor to enter into a contract agreement with APSCO LLC for the project. I move we adopt this report.
Second.
There's been a motion and second to adopt this report. Is there any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Does anyone oppose? Motion passes.
Thanks to the Finance Committee, that concludes business for Public Works.
Thank you, Councilmember Shaw. Okay. Council President Pericini is going to present the special committee items tonight.
Okay, so we have a report from the Personnel Committee recommending the approval of a memorandum of understanding with the Aberdeen Police Administrators Union, APAU, for the revision of Article 11 of the 2023 through 2025 APAU Collective Bargaining Agreement, which covers the act of doffing and donning. I move that we adopt this report.
Second.
There's been a motion and second to adopt this report. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Yeah.
The briefing paper on this said, funds will be requested for this action if approved in next year's budget. And that was in error. There will not be a cost, because it's already in the budget.
Yeah, Councilmember Ellis is correct. There's no expense associated with this now or in the future. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Does anyone oppose? Motion passes.
Okay, next we have a report from the Personnel Committee recommending the council authorize the city to enter in an employment contract with directors. I move that we adopt this report.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second to adopt this report. Is there any discussion?
Question for the city administrator. Is this a totally new concept for the city?
Yeah,
We haven't had contracts.
we have not had contracts, correct?
Thank you.
Seeing no further comments, all those in favor? Aye. Does anyone oppose? Motion carries.
Okay, next we have a report approving items for a session into the museum collection. I move that we adopt this report.
Second.
There's been a motion and second to adopt this report. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Does anyone oppose? Motion passes. Item D.
Next, we have a report requesting the appointment of council member volunteers to form a selection committee that will submit a scholarship nomination to the Association of Washington's Center for Quality Community Scholarship. I move that we adopt this report.
Second.
There's been a motion and second to adopt this report. Any discussion?
So what this is a scholarship Aberdeen would select. So I would look to you to appoint a council. You can do that tonight, or maybe when Mayor Shave gets back, you can kind of work with people. So if you're interested, maybe you can express your interest to Mayor Shave of being part of this. We would select one candidate to represent Aberdeen and to compete with other cities for this scholarship. So we've already received 13 applicants for this. So people are, there is some already excitement around it. So yeah, so any questions?
Does the mayor have to affirm the appointment?
I think it's just the people that maybe 3 council members maybe that want to get together and be the selection to bring forward something so that we can officially pass it at the next, or, at the next meeting or meeting after.
Forward one candidate.
You can move forward one candidate from high school and then like one continuing candidate. So it sounded like you could move forward 2 candidates.
How many council members are they looking at to be on this subcommittee?
Oh, I don't know. I guess that would be up to the mayor. If you're not going to pick anyone or appoint anyone tonight, then we can leave it to the mayor to kind of reach out to all of you and see who would be interested. If you're interested, please reach out to Mayor Shave. Yeah, less than.
If you're interested, reach out to Mayor Shave. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Does anyone oppose? Motion carries. All right, we made it through all of our agenda items, and I will open back up public comment. If anyone wishes to speak, please approach the podium. Provide your full name and ward number or approximate location, and you have 3 minutes.
It'd be nice if there was a stool here so I could see. I feel like I'm at a restaurant where when I sit at the table, it comes up to my neck. I don't have anything to complain about, but during the agenda, excuse me. I work in a very bad environment in a home, and so it causes a lot of congestion. Okay. When you guys talk about the artwork in the roundabout, okay, I think it's kind of a good idea, but I travel it every day. Drives me nuts. People drive around there like crazy. I've nearly been hit a couple of times. I don't think people yield very well. So my concern is that it might be a distraction depending on what you have. If people already have a hard enough time driving circular when they can't even drive straight. Okay, so your suggestion about plants, I thought was pretty good because they'd be beautiful, they'd be really nice. You worry about water. Well, all those beautiful plants that hang along the street, they don't have water. They have that cute little truck that comes up and goes. And during some time, people could be doing that. So water is not a bad thing. The other thing I have, I forgot my glasses, was when in the special report, when it comes to the thing with the police administration, we have no idea what the agreement, which covers the act of doffing and donning. I have no idea what that means. And I was just curious, new words to me, and I'm always trying to learn. And I come to these meetings, it's important.
Doffing and donning refers to the act of putting on and removing your uniform and your gear.
Oh.
I didn't know that either. They had to teach me that as well.
They need an act and an order to take their uniforms on and off. An agreement? I don't understand. It says an agreement which covers the act of doffing and donning. Is it not legal for them to take their clothes on and off?
No, it is. It's just that it does take quite a bit of time. They have layers upon layers of things that they have to put on. And so, yeah, it can take quite some time to put their bulletproof vests on. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense, but I thought, okay. So thank you for the clarification. That really helps. And I wish more people would come to these meetings. I think it's important. I come to them because I think it's important. I've been here 30 years. And I've just recently started within the last year and a half come to these, and I should have come here a long time ago, but I wasn't that interested in, I can't imagine what people. That was interested in their committee. In the community.
Can we get your name and ward number for just for the record?
My name is Noreen Lynette DeMaria Taylor. I go by Lynette, and I believe I'm in, what word is it?
Ward 1, I do believe. 2.
Two. I'm in 2.
We're
Second ward.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Your 3-minute time, Lynn.
Okay.
And thanks, Lynette.
Hello, I'm Doug Moore from Ward 5. Kind of the opposite of her. I feel like this is on my lap. I just wanted to take a minute because I don't think anybody recognizes how much work the Aberdeen Association, Downtown Association, and the Parks Department have done downtown to brighten with those white lights downtown. It looks really beautiful when you go through the community. I just wanted to let her know that and let you guys know that. Thanks.
Thank you. That was a very great details.
Gail Anderson from All the Glitters. As I was leaving over here tonight, there's a woman. There's a woman, girl, person, higher than a kite, with foil in her hand, getting ready to shoot up right outside my door. And I've had trouble with trying to get people to leave. They refuse to leave. They claim, and there's a map out that marking in yellow where they can camp. It was given out last summer. Several people have told me that they have permission to camp anywhere that these yellow lines are on the map. And they said they got it at the CAP's office. I don't know. I have one of the maps, but I just was wondering what, if anything can be done with that.
Can I get your information after this? I'm curious to see if you submitted a no trespass form to the police department and if you contacted the police in order to have them removed from your property. So,
Anytime.
okay.
Yeah, I just have a couple removed a couple nights ago, but they ended up putting their tent up anyway after the police left and took her to the hospital. But this one that's outside of my store right now, I just I'll call the police if I go back over there and she's still there.
Thank you. We'll catch up with you after the meeting too, so we can pass that along
Please, yeah.
to the chief of police. Seeing no further public comment, is there anything tonight for the good of the order?
Yeah, I have a couple things. January 5th is the legislative send-off. I've sent an email out to all of you. I would love to sign you up if you'd like to attend. That's where we send off our legislators from the 24th and 19th district. All but one have confirmed their attendance, so that's really good. We'll get to let them know, and you'll be able to ask questions that are related to Aberdeen or anything that is on your mind. I also have sent out, and you'll see a series of emails from Becca as well. We're trying to get all of you, as well as our new elected officials, oriented and to get all of their, IT permissions and everything set up. If you have an iPad that you've been issued, could you contact me afterwards? We'll have to collect, and you won't be here after January 1. We'll have to get that from you. So I'll be sending out an email just kind of reminding you. I think Becca and IT and everyone is kind of working. We're all kind of trying to coordinate this for everyone. And then I believe Becca sent out an email that the swearing in is on August 20th. So I'm sorry, December 20th. I wish it were August, I guess, of the weather. So December 20th. So
At the council meeting.
at the council meeting.
Second.
It's been a motion and second to adjourn. Do we vote on that?
Yes.
Seeing no other business by the council, this meeting's adjourned.